So, guys, the day is currently 342, and I do hope you guys had a wonderful Sunday. But the time is currently 6:50 p.m., and I just came back from a shift, and this is the same clip that I have remade three times simply because the first two clips just refuse to be downloaded. So, I'm going to make tonight very brief because by repeating the same clip, I know what to say now. And that is when you make a mistake, there are three things you should be doing. Three things based on my own experience that you should be doing so that you can pull yourself out of making the same mistake over and over again sooner. And hopefully, you won't make the mistake long enough to fall into the loop and force of victimization. Now, what is victimization? It is to first meet failure and blame your failure, blame your inadequacies, and blame whatever it is, your own life problems on people, things, situations, that dog, that cat, your mom, your dad, whatever. Is to blame your own failures on somebody. Is to not take responsibilities and ownership that you are the sole reason of your failures. Even if your own mistakes and failures is caused by something. Let's say you lost your job because your boss fired you. You may point your finger at your boss because he fired you because you think that is the sole person responsible for your own failure. But a person who does not play the victim game understand that he had some reason that his boss fired him. He looks internally and asks himself, maybe I was not working harder, maybe I was not adding value, maybe something I have done wrong that I could improve. And by looking internally, by taking responsibilities and by facing your realities and be playing the cards you are dealt with, you can improve on yourself. You can make your situation more favorably so that in the future you can grow. If you choose to play victimization, then you're not going to grow. If you choose to blame, then you'll never find a reason as to why you were rejected in the first place. So what are three things you can do to avoid playing the victimized game, to avoid yourself falling in to this false reality that everyone else is the reason for your own failures? Number one, when you make a mistake, we all do. But what's worse is to scourge yourself, is to criticize yourself and repent for making that decision. A mistake is only as bad as your first decision to make that mistake. But if you choose to view yourself as less of a person constantly and replaying that belief over your head, you are going to make that initial mistake tenfold worse. Why? Because the first step to playing the victim game is to have this knowledge or belief ingrained in yourself that you cannot change the situation. And by scrolling and criticizing and being all sad about your own choice and decisions, you are going to think over time that you cannot change because you are less, you are worthless. And that is exactly what scrolling, repenting, and negative self talk will do to you over time on an unconscious level. You will start to blame people unconsciously before you even know consciously. That is a scary thing. It works to kill you subtly. Number two, when you make a mistake, we have to avoid making mistakes. How? And that is to face our reality. By facing reality, you are taking responsibility. But the thing is, we are not actually scared to take responsibilities. We are scared to face our reality. And because we are faced to scared our reality, we do everything in order to avoid facing our reality. We do the most comfortable thing when things get tough, when we start to become conscious of our own inadequacies, of our own failures and worthlessness. We start to distract ourselves by doing something. We fall into this automatic pattern of behavior. It is a recipe to distract ourselves from facing our reality. So when the going gets hard, we divulge into this behavior pattern to avoid facing our reality. So taking responsibility is not hard. But the sole thing that I have found out that is the cause of my constant relapse of addiction, no matter what addiction it is, the main cause or the trigger was that my reality was not something I am ready to face. But number three, we will never be ready to face our reality. We will never be ready because our reality will not change. Why? Because by playing the same constant loop, by reliving the future, by replaying our past, what do you expect? Like our reality will not change until the moment we do something about it, until we stay present, until we take responsibility, until we face our reality and face it head on to make something different of our present state. But the moment we do that, until the moment we do that, I mean, our present, our reality will not change. So, if you don't do these three things when you make a mistake, or just in fact, if you feel like you are not taking responsibility at the moment for your mistakes or life, then it is possible that you are not choosing to face reality. You are blaming someone. And most importantly, you are not ready to become present to make a change for the present. And if that's the case, then it is inevitable and your future is quite predictable that it will not change for the better. And if you're ambitious, hoping that you'll change, hoping that you'll become rich, hoping that you'll become successful, then you are only self torturing yourself if you are constantly avoiding your reality. And by doing so is another way of self torture, is another way of diminishing your own self confidence and believe in yourself. So, follow these three steps if you no longer wish to play the same day over and over again, to look down at yourself, to feel like you have no control over yourself. If you're ready to take hold of yourself, then the first step is to stop blaming. Second step is to stop avoiding your reality. And third step is to understand nobody and no thing can change your present unless you do it yourself. But I do hope you guys had learned something from this. But if not, like always, I'll be here for you guys tomorrow. But until then, happy Sunday.